Let's start with, I guess if we're going in first doing in class order, then it's going to be damage for Amani, right? So I think she's good, but I don't think she's fantastic. I'm trying to think of the baseline. I don't think anybody is SS right now. I don't. I also don't think anybody's C. So I think, actually, I'll just start by doing I'll put the bottom and the top to, like, lay out how I should do this. I would say it's probably... I'll even rank turn, by the way. Do is right. Alright. I'll just do that just to have like a full split. Actually, I think it is Makoa. I was debating. Remove her. Get off. Get off. Whatever. Okay. We'll keep it laid out like that, and we'll go from there. So, damage. I guess we'll start with Amani now. I think Amani is good. Her root is really, really powerful. But I'm doing this in the order on the champ list, by the way. But I feel like she does suffer when she has to get away, and her ult in late game falls off a lot. I still think she's really influential in fights, so I'm gonna put her... I don't think she's better than Leon, or like... I think I might put her on the level of Cassie, but with like less mobility and less tank burn. Like, she is Cassie, but she trades tank burn for some more spread damage and CC. So I think I'll put her there, because that's probably where I'm going to put Cassie. Next would be BK. And BK is still, like, super crazy influential, but I don't think he's as good as the mid-rangers. So I think I'll probably put him in A+. That's my guess. I might move him back up to S- later, depending on where I think everyone falls. But I would put him below the mid-range, the strong mid-rangers, but above pretty much every other DPS. BK, Cassie. I'll put Cassie. I mean, I was just talking. It's Cassie with less utility, more tank shred, more like self-preservation with cards like... And I've talked about this a lot in scrims. I know you guys have watched a few of them, but like the somersault card for Cassie is super, super good. Like, it seems like such a minor thing, but like it has such a low internal cooldown, and keeping your second roll in the back of your head will get you away from so much pressure. So I think she has more sustain than Amani, plus she has more tank shred, but she still lacks in like the utility, like the spread damage, the CC. So I'll put them about at the same level. Dredge is definitely worse than BK. He's too situational. I mean, he's really good on the maps where he's really good, but he's somewhere in this range. I'll put him at A because of how good he is on the maps where he's good, but on the maps where he's bad, he's fucking atrocious. He's just like, I would say almost like, he's just really bad on the maps where he's bad. So I'll put Dredge up here, just like to keep a balance with like the maps where he's really good and the maps where he's not. Ice Mines and Stone Keep. Ice Mines more specifically, he can be really scary. He's a little easier to deal with on Stone Keep. Drogos. I would say Drogo's Dredge on Fish Market. Yeah, dude, sounds insane. Just Crow's Nest. Oh, they nerfed it. Oh, feels bad, man. Buck is D-. Buck's probably going to be B tier or C tier, but we'll see. Drogo's is similar to Dredge in the sense where... Actually, I'm going to move Dredge down because I'm going to put Drogo's here. Most likely. Drogo's is similar to Dredge in that he has maps where he's good and maps where he's bad, but he has multiple viable legendaries. Like, you can run Fusilon, you can run Combustible, you can run Wormjets, depending on the enemy composition. So I think Drogo's plays better on multiple maps and better into his counter picks than Dredge does. So I'll put him here. I think that's a fair shake because of how much variety he has in his builds. And his ult is still very powerful when you combine it with other ultimates, or if you just do it raw in some cases, depending on the team you're playing against. But I'm doing this for like pretty high tier. I'd say this is like tier 2, about the level of our scrims. Next in line is Kinessa. The snipers are always going to be really hard to rate. I'm probably going to end up putting them on the same tier as Drogue. Because it depends a lot, right? Like, if you have a good drafter on the sniper, they're going to be insane. If you don't have a good drafter on the sniper, they're probably not going to do very much. Kinessa is still better than Strix right now, especially with unauthorized use gone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Kinessa around... I'll put her with BK in a good draft. I'll put her down because she's so draft dependent. I'll put her down because she's so draft dependent. With a good draft, she's so good, but like she suffers with a bad draft. But she's easier to draft around than like a Strix, right? Like, so you could play a Kinessa into an Ashe if you wanted to, but if you played a Strix into an Ashe, you'd have a lot of problems, right? So there's more opportunities for Kinessa to work out against multiple compositions than Strix. I'm gonna full screen this actually. That looks a little nicer. I'm also gonna skip this song. This is good. Okay. Strix says no out. Yeah, he can stealth, but like a good player will track it most of the time. After him is Leon, and I'm gonna put her up here. I mean, her burst damage, her snowball potential, her mobility, her dual winning ultimates, like, come on, man. She's insane. She's really good. I will say she's strictly better. I think she's strictly better than Cassie in more situations. Cassie's still exceptional, obviously, but like, I think being better in more situations puts Leon that step above. I don't think there's too much else to say. I think she's really good. Actually, Cassie goes to SS because you can't counter her ult. Next is Shaw, as I put her back down. We'll do Shaw. Now, I mean, Shaw's still, like, he hasn't really changed. After, like, the stealth nerf, right? Like, he hasn't really changed from the champion that he was back then. He can still absolutely work in some situations, but, like, when you pick him, not only are you, like, gambling with the FPS bug, I think his mobility and his distinguishing factor above the mid-rangers is stealth, and that's not great, right? Like, the thing that makes him stand out is stealth, and that's something that gets countered by either a cheap item, where, I mean, if you're making them buy that item, that's still good, but it's still, like, Cassie's thing is tank shredding and mobility. Leon's thing is like versatility and the auto aim burst damage combos. Shaw has burst damage and stealth, and like we all know stealth is not great. So I'll put him down. I think I don't want to. I'll put him here because he can, like, Dredge can pop off, right? Like at this tier, like, these characters can still pop off in the right composition. But like, it's just going to be dependent. Isn't Pip Potion Bug still a thing? Yes, but it's still pretty not common, and when you play Pip, it's going to be as a damage most of the time. And it's kind of irrelevant when you're playing damage Pip. It's not as important. After him is Strix, and I'll put Strix in the same tier, because, again, he can pop off, but he's easier to counter than Kinessa is. Even though, of course, it's a sniper, it can still do a lot. Alright, now, my team, I'm obviously very biased when it comes to this next character from my team, but I think Tyra is really good. I think she is definitely, like, she's not going to fill the mid-ranger slot in your team. Like, you're still going to want a ranged DPS when you have her, but as, like, a brawler, close-range, flanker, maybe blaster substitute DPS, I think she's very flexible. I think if you're not going to take advantage of Hunting Party with your composition, she can just go Mercy Kill and play a really, really tanky, snowbally, reset-focused build. On the maps where, like, her zoning is strong, Firebomb is exceptionally good at just keeping people out. And I think she's more versatile on different maps than people give her credit for. I just think she takes, like, a little bit of babysitting on those maps. But most of the time, if you're drafting that composition, you're probably going to be moving as a unit anyway, right? And that's like, you just play her with Hunting Party and then make your range DPS win those trades, right? Like, I think she's versatile. I'm gonna put her I'm debating putting her up there, but I think she probably sits like, you're never gonna, unless you're looking for a specific counter composition. I don't think you're ever gonna pick her in the slot where you'd be picking Inara. Sorry, excuse me, Imani or Cassie. Victor is Victor. He's good. Burst mode's really good. I think he'll fit in the same situation. His ult, he gets his ult really fast. He has really good poke of burst mode. He can reposition pretty effectively. He just has a decent amount going for him. But he doesn't do anything like crazy. Like, he doesn't bring any CC to the table. He just brings like great AoE poke, AoE pressure, and direct poke. When you need it, he's a good substitute mid-ranger. Like, I would definitely play him over Shaw. His lifesteal gives him a decent amount of sustain too on the Iron Sights. I think he fits pretty decently in that area for DPSs. Vivian. I'm gonna say, if I'm gonna put Vivian anywhere, I think it's gonna be down in the can pop off but is draft specific area. I think I'm gonna put her down here because like she is really good when you can keep pressure off of her, but like just shoot her feet, you know. Oh yeah. I'll change my title because it's gonna take a while. I think she can be really good in a comp where you can keep pressure off of her, but you can't always guarantee that unless you last pick her. And like, I guess these are characters that are like, I think map or composition dependent. Shot up maybe. I talked about it earlier. I think he brings the least out of the mid rangers, and he goes down because like it's the FPS bug Gampo when you pick him, and I think he's just not as good as these other DPSs. I think I would pick these characters over him most of the time. But Vivian is like really good when I mean, if any of these are going to move up, it would be Shah or Viv. Like she might be more flexible than we give her credit for, but the fact is, like, unlike the console community, like she's better in console because the aim assist kind of fights you when you try to look at her feet to shoot her when she has the shield up, but it doesn't really happen on PC. Obviously, because we don't have aim assist unless you're cheating. She's a great hacker counter apparently. But I think she sits pretty nicely here. She puts on a lot of pressure. She can rotate really quick at her speed, but she needs the right composition to play into. Who's last for damage? Willow. I think I might move up Shaw 1 because I'm putting the bug too much. I think I'd move Shaw up 1 and I would put Willow in this tier. I don't want to stack the tiers too much, because it is kind of like the relativity of like when you're going to pick these different characters is factoring a lot into my decisions of where to put them. And like she's going to be another one of those like enemy draft dependent champions. You kind of have to last pick her, because if you walk that Willow into a Victor, into a Leon, into a Kinessa or Strix, even into a Cassie at like high tiers of gameplay, it's just it's ult. You're never gonna get much value out of the ult. Dead Zone is really nice, but there are ways to counterplay it. Like as an example, we just had a scrim against a Willow yesterday, 2 days ago. Excuse me. Wait, yeah, 2 days ago. And no, it was yesterday. Whatever. And I would go to point as a Nara, wait for the Willow to dead zone me, then I would call for the beam while backing up. So like you can kind of bait it and play around it. Like there's ways to counterplay dead zone. And in the comps where you can kind of like, when the comps where you can get great Willow ults off and get great dead zone value, that's where you're going to play her. But I wouldn't pick her over most of the DPSs in the game right now. That's all the damages. Let's hop over to flanks. That is all the damages, right? Am I missing anybody? I mean, I'm missing the support damage flexes, but that's everybody. So we'll go to flanks. First on the list is Buck. Oh, Adroxus, excuse me. Let's follow DK. Now, Andy, I think I'm going to put him around the same tier as... He could move down, but The Godslayer Andy can be pretty flexible right now, and in the comps where he can get away with the harassing and bouncing away, he's pretty strong. And we've seen in our scrims at least, we've gotten a lot of value out of and damage out of the tank Androxus. He's shown a lot. He's shown a lot of impact, I think, with the reversal build with really strong poke plus the ability to kind of harass on a side very effectively, almost similar to a Koga, obviously with way less effectiveness. We'll get to him in a minute. But like he's able to harass and sustain on the side, a little safer than Koga, but obviously with way less impact. So I think here's a pretty good. I think this is an okay place for him. The champions that he's good against, he's great, and the maps that he's good on, he can be very good. Build dependent, obviously. I think he's pretty comfortable here. Maybe I move him down, but he's all right here. I think we're gonna have. I think this B tier might only be B for Buck. He doesn't bring anything to the table. I think that other flanks don't bring better, or other DPSs. Maybe combined with a Torv, he could be okay. But his burst, he's just, I don't know. He just can't get away with anything, really. Who's the best flank in the game? We'll get there, my friend. But he just doesn't get away with enough anymore. Even with bulk up, like he just doesn't pull it off anymore. He can't get away with he can't get away with pressure from the side and doing damage. He can maybe like hold a flank and then run away, but not Koga. It might be, buddy. Trust me. But Buck doesn't really get away with much. And like you can just focus him and pressure him out. Like if he's coordinating perfectly with your team, then yeah, he's gonna do well. Like he's gonna potentially get a kill on the way in. But he's like any flank will do that and also do more outside of the crazy timing plays, you know? Like it's just not worth it to run him, really. Eevee. Eevee's kind of a special case. I'm gonna put her. It's hard to play Eevee into the characters that are really good, but I think that she's so player skill dependent that like a really comfortable Eevee will be able to get away with it a lot. I think she can sit pretty comfortably here, even if Leon is like almost not a hard counter, but she's really good at playing against her. You think A+? I don't know, man. I've played against some like really nasty Eevees, and I think this is a fine fit for her. I think this is assuming like very, very strong players in every area here. Yeah, it's really hard to play her into the top tier characters right now. But you can still make it work. Like you can still harass, you can still poke. Yeah, exactly, Season. Like those really comfortable Eevees bring her up. So I think that's a comfortable spot for her. In the concert, she's really good. She still gets dealt with decently by the high tier DPSs, but they're not always going to be in the draft. When she fits in, she's going to have this much impact, I feel. Sorry, there's a Discord message. I have to check. Alright, reopening the game. After Eevee is... Oh, we're jumping all the way to Koga. Okay. Now, Koga is kind of a special case to me. I think Koga, when unchecked and uncontested, is absurd. Like, if he's not getting caughted, if he's not getting CC'd, if he's not getting shot, the amount of damage he's putting out is insane with massive hitboxes. Plus, it is cauterizing. Plus, he's lifestealing off it, right? Like, the whole time. And it's just super consistent and never stopping. So he's an incredible, like, tank shred champion. He just has to be supported with the right composition. Like, as just looking back at the scrims we had earlier, in the map where he was playing, well, I mean, I kind of did feed into him, to be fair. I played really badly that game. But in the maps where he had the Grover playing around him, plus like his tanks were kind of body blocking for him a lot, he was doing so much. Like he was getting away with a ton of damage and a ton of free rotate, like a ton of escapes he shouldn't have been able to get, like with the team playing around him. So Koga, I'm gonna put him in the position of like, he's a flanker, but you play him like a backline DPS. And you play him around your team, and you generally want a healer that can spread heals with him, because he will demand some. Grover, obviously, an incredible healer, and Grover's an incredible healer and plays really well with him. If you can pair the two, that's insane, because the Grover's poking, the Koga's poking, it's a lot of pressure. So I'm going to put... Now, these are like assuming... Like, Koga can squeeze into a lot of dress. There are counter classes for him. I'm going to put him up here. For how good he is when his potential is being realized. Because, like, looking back at the last game we just played, the Splitstone game, even with us playing around, I felt like I was playing around him a lot better, and they didn't have like the Grover heals to sustain him as much. He still got off 160k damage by the time the game was over. Not being played as a flanker, being played as like this constant poke backline DPS, albeit the squishiest one in the game, lets him, I think, makes him earn his spot in that position. To answer you, I mentioned Andy before. I think he's good at like harassing on the sides, but like it's really hard for him to get in and get out anymore. He just can't get away with as much. You have to kind of run Godslayer, but he's good when you're countering certain styles. Like he's good when you have a character you can counter, like Drogoz or Willow, but he kind of struggles outside of that niche. And Dredge. Lex is next, and Alex mentioned it before, but I think he does join. I think he does join Buck there, because if you're playing Lex without a Torv, it's not really going to do anything. Like you really need the Torv to enable him with the crazy speed stacking and the damage boost and helping him get all the life, like giving him time to get lifesteal. The B tier is like needs a Torv tier. We'll say that. B tier is you better have Torv. It's like if you don't have a Torv, both those champions aren't really going to do much. And even then, there are some better targets. Lex is a very good supplement for like if you can't get a Koga or a Xin for whatever reason. Like if it's just not a great map for them, Lex can kind of supplement because he moves so fast. Has his own stacking damage bonuses, let him melt targets. But he still like requires a lot of setup. And on his own, he's never really going to do anything. So I think B's a fair shake for him. Next flank is Maeve. This is really hard for me to judge for Maeve. She's seeing a lot of play on, I think not a lot of play, but she's seeing more play on EU than she is in North America. I really don't know where she fits quite yet. We did one game messing around with her today. But I didn't think it felt that great. I felt like Lumsy, like our Maeve player for that game, was kind of overcommitting in some fights. I think he was still trying to get the feel for it. So I think I'm gonna put her around Andy. I think this is a fair place for her. She's a good she's all right for poking on like off angles and stuff and being able to rotate away. But I don't. Her ult is really good too for forcing resilience out. You can time some pretty good pushes with that. But I don't know exactly what she brings. I don't think she brings too much to the table outside of compositions or maps where she's really good. Like Serpent Beach. Serpent Beach is so good. Like all these characters have a ton of value, right? Like every one of these characters in this map can have a ton of value and use in the game, right? Like these aren't bad characters at all. Maeve is really, really good on vertical maps. But is she better than Koga on those maps when you play her like a backline? Not really. She has a better ult. But not really. So I think that's like the entirety of Maeve. It's hard for Maeve to get out if she uses her mobility to go in too. Because usually you have to use your 9 lives like just to make it in against a good team. Skye is next. Now, she fell off a little bit recently. I still think she's like has a ton of potential. She's so good against tanks. She's one of the few counters to Makoa, which really is which is like probably the best character in the game and has been for a long time. I I think Sky's somewhere in this region, but I don't know where. I I want to say she's better than I want to say she's A plus, but she hasn't really been picked a lot recently. I'll put her here just because of the potential that she has in some of these situations. Like she can burn 40% of your health every like 3 seconds. If you have a comp that snowballs early game really hard, it's almost impossible to flip it against the Sky. Because like until you get your Illuminate on, she can kind of like roam around freely near you. She can heal herself on her Healing Vapor, Smoke Bomb, and just like constantly poke you. Yeah, it's the Poison Bolt talent. It's the Debilitate. She plays as like a hybrid backline flanker, and that's what puts her here. I think this is a fair place for her. Maybe I have BK a little low now that I'm seeing what else I'm putting in A plus. I might move BK up to S minus. We'll see. I think this is a fair shake for her though. Is after Sky Talus. Talus and Zin are the only two flankers left. I think there's a lot of CC or just things that win trades against Talus that are high up in the meta right now. Without Cauterize in his kit, I don't think he brings enough to a composition anymore before he burns out. The issue is like Guts is a really cool card, and like conceptually like getting that extra DR is really good, but most of the time with how little health he has, 40% health 40% health is like such a low threshold for Talus. He's probably going to die before, like he might die from 41% health until 0, you know, like he could just skip that entire Guts DR. He could just skip it and die. So his sustain isn't great. He's probably one of the better flanks to pair with Torvald on the right map. His ult being a guaranteed touch if the enemy team isn't ready for it is really good, but without the Cauterize pressure and all that, he's just so squishy in a meta that is ready to burn squishy targets very quickly. So I think that's about good for him. Zin is the last flanker, and I think Zin excuse me, I think Zin, now that he can shoot around corners and everything, is really good. Zin's ability to harass from the side, like from really far away, he's one of the few like flankers that can really get away with it again. Like it's like the flankers that can really get away with going behind you are like what? Talus, because he can warp out for free. Eevee, because she can warp out for free, and Zin because if he gets a kill or if he's smart about his cooldowns, he could just billow away. I think you can maybe make an argument for Andy, but his is so reliant on like using all of your abilities perfectly. Like it's kind of hard to say that Andy gets away with it for free. I don't think it's like free for him. But Zin, I think I'm gonna put in right here. They're not ordered within. I'm gonna actually mention that. What? Where's my 2.0 tier? Base T1/T2 no ordering within tiers. Okay, sorry. Anyway, he has great burst damage and poke on the sides of a fight. He can turn someone, if he's like has good internal timings, he can turn someone's burst damage ability into they take 600 damage. You know, counter is a much more effective ability now. And he can get away just like he's so good at dueling on the side of a map. He's so good at like dealing burst damage combos. He's just very strong, and you can even he's one of the few DPSs that you can kind of just leave like alone, and they'll still be okay. Like they'll still do all right. Obviously, if you have a Zin and a tank pressuring, that's you know even better. But he's one of those DPSs that could get away with being alone, and that plus his Yomi poke plus his ability to get in and out, I think, puts him here. Next is tanks. And this is obviously my area of expertise. Do you guys want me to rank Terminus? Like, he would be pickable, or no? Yes? Okay, I can do that. Termi SS? I don't know if he's SS. He's up high, though. I think he's S or SS. He's S or SS, 100%. Oh, what's up, J-Flare? Glad to see you're here. Are you sending this to showing this to the next AOC meeting? Like, alright, guys. Buffer nerf based on this. Alright. Ashe is... I'll say, like, Ashe is taking bugs into account, because you realistically have to in some of these situations. I think Ashe is the best off tank in the game. 100%. Without a doubt. Whether... Okay, actually, I'd say Makoa is like... Makoa is super flexible. I think Makoa kind of like fills every role. Makoa is just like the best tank, but I think Ashe is like... If you have Makoa and Ashe, and you have Makoa play in that middle area... Makoa counters turn... Yeah, Makoa is almost always banned. I think I'll put Ashe here with potential to go higher. I'm debating about putting her up there. Because her ults, there is counterplay to being hooked out of your ults. You can shield, you can use the flag to block. I think Khan has a lot of, like, you can spam over Khan, like, Ashe can bully Khan really hard. Depends on the map and stuff. I think this is right. I think Ashe goes up there. Because I think her ability to bully and self-sustain and give 8,000, if she hits her boop, she has 8,000 extra health every 3 seconds. That's crazy. You can't tell me that's not crazy. Her lifesteal gives her a massive effective health pool, especially since she can constantly reset her healing. She can reset her shield, and with her shield in front of her, she's not getting caught in. And if she's not getting caught in, every shot heals her for 200 HP. I was shot in A tier because I think he's still good. Like, he's still good mid-rangers. He just doesn't have as much utility as the Cassie or Leon. Yeah, Shaw hasn't gotten worse. He's just underplayed. Shaw's still fine when you play him well. It's just, it's risky because of the FPS bug and because the other DPSs just give more utility. But he's still good. Very few of the characters in this game are outright bad or completely unplayable. Like, that basically B and down to me is that area of the map, of the game. Like, B tier is good with Torvald tier, like playable with Torvald tier, excuse me, and C tier is like, even with Torv, there's better choices. But I think this is a fair shake. I'll talk about Makoa, by the way, since I didn't when I put him up there because I was waiting until I got to the tanks. I'll just jump over it. You can't argue with Makoa. Yes, Skye can poison him, but like everyone's gonna see it. Everyone's gonna see it coming. Everyone in the top tier game knows Skye fucks Makoa. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret anymore. Makoa has the best non-ultimate ability in the game. With a good team, it's basically a guaranteed pick every 10 or so seconds. You can't argue that. He has a great shield to peel for his team. He has great retreat. His shell spin with Surf goes really far. Every elimination gets him speed for 8 seconds. His builds, he has one of the best ults in the game. His build is so good for pressure. He has the option to have one of the best shield resets in the entire game. He has one of the best abilities in the game. Like, his kit is just so fucking stacked. It's so stacked. So stacked. It's crazy. You can't argue with it. Anyway. Barrack is one of the two... Okay, I mean, we're including Term, but I'll have them as a separate thing. So, like, in real drafting, like, Barrack and Enar are the 2 point tanks, right? You can play Ashe as a point tank. Like, you can play Ashe on the point, but she's not a point tank. You can play Makoa on the point, but he's not a point tank. The two tanks that want to be on point and holding point or holding an area are Inara and Barrack. Barrack is, I think, depending on the composition, can be better than Inara in some situations. Depends on the map and stuff, right? Inara is still exceptional. But, like, on the maps where, if you have a composition where you can get away with Nando point tank, no. He's an off tank that you play on point when you have to. That's how I see it. I'll just preface this. I think there's only 3 point tanks in the game. I think if you put Nando on point, he's an off tank that you're putting in that position because he's replacing someone else. If that makes sense. Like, I think the 3 point tanks are Inara, Barrack, Turn. If you put Ashe on point, Ashe isn't a point tank. Ashe is just the person playing in that position. But she's not a point tank, if that makes sense. That's how I view it. And that's how I'm going to just, like, discuss the rules. But anyway, I think Barrack is... He's around here. Barrack is still really good. I think I would put him down here. And probably Inara above, just because Barrack does get countered by Wrecker a little bit more than... Barrack does get countered a little bit more than some other champions. I'm actually gonna do this so I don't stack it up as much. When Wrecker is up and really strong, Barrack suffers. Barrack falls off. If you have like Barrack Khan, then the enemy team gets so much value off of Wrecker. Ashe, if you have like Barrack Ashe, they get value out of Wrecker, but it's not as much because Ashe gets those resets constantly. Oh, sorry, Rock. My bad. Victor A+ tier? Yeah, why not? He's really good on the maps where he's really good. His pressure is really consistent. His nades to chase you around corners. His ult is really good. He just loses CC. Why Leon above Cassie? Because I think Leon's more flexible. I think Leon's more flexible as a character. I think she has better long distance. I think she's better long distance poke than Cassie. I think Cassie is better against tanks, like certain tanks in particular, like Makoa Ashe, but those are getting banned a lot. Tyre A+, yeah, I can talk about that again at the end. Let me get through everything first, and then I'll go back to answer any questions, because I discussed everything as I put it down. But Barrack's really good as a point tank. He can sometimes be better than Inara on certain maps with certain compositions. Basically, if the comp gets fucked by Wrecker, well, yeah, I mean, that's looking at it in a vacuum. Yeah, run at the Victor if he's completely alone, but a Victor being with his team playing around him is obnoxious. This is for coordinated team play. This has nothing to do with ranked. Anyway, Nando. I'm still not sure exactly, like, he's going to be around here. I'll talk about Tyre A+, if you guys want. Now, Nando here, I personally still think he can have a really high impact, and he's still a great fill-in for a tank, as a tank. It's mostly because of his ult. I mean, like, what do you do? What do you do against it? I mean, you can't do anything against a Nando ult, right? I mean, you can line up things for when the ult's over. If the Nando ult's well and has shield and dash up after the ult, then it's a lot harder. His ult is very effective at countering other ults. So, with an ult used effectively to push with a full team, and with a composition, like Inara Nando's pretty good, because again, that kind of minimizes the Wrecker value. His sustain is still really, really well. Really well. Oh my god, his sustain is really good, especially with that new build with the speed on the dash plus the resets on the shield. He still has really solid sustain. I still think he's an okay point tank, but there's just better. He's just not a good. He's not a better choice than the other characters. Oh no. Alright, Inara. I'm gonna put Inara in S- because there was a little while. There was a little while where I was like, my God, like Inara is just worse. Like I was thinking like Inara is equal to Barrack, and sometimes I was like, Inara is better than. I was like Barrack's better than Inara. Inara's better than Barrack. But the value of Inara is that, like, by running Inara, you mitigate the value of Wrecker that the enemy team gets. Like with Inara, like if they get Wrecker, it's not really doing anything. Not really doing anything. It's literally doing nothing for her. Yeah, Barrack is really, and Inara is really solid all the time. Do not watch my Warder's Gate game that I played earlier if you want an example of how to play Inara. I think the game I played after was pretty good, but she's really good at like diminishing item value because Gaunt isn't as good against her when she DRs. Wrecker isn't as good against her because she has no shields. You buy Bulldozer against her unless you have like an Amani or a Ying. It's only getting value against the Inara. Like, she's really good at messing with your economy, while also being a very strong and hard to kill tank when you juggle your cooldowns correctly, or position correctly. In my case, something I was not doing earlier. But yeah, I think she deserves to be up there. You can kind of, if you don't care about your point tank, like you can actually delay your Inara Barrack pick if you're looking for a point tank in your composition pretty far in your draft. That's why she's not higher, I think. Sunday. But anyway, like you can delay her pick because you can end up with Barrack and it's not the end of the world. That's why she's not like S or S plus. Me and Noobs thinking are kind of random noob. Oh my God, I can't speak. Me and Rams think are kind of the same. I mean, yeah, we play. I was about to say we play at the same level. That's not true, but I mean, we play probably similar teams. I've met the guy in person. I think I like to think I have a good grasp on the game. Rush speed, no stop. Next tank, Khan. God, he's really good. Is he better than Inara? Is he? I think he's. I'm gonna put him on the same tier as Inara. I'm not reading your name. Come on, brother. Khan is a very strong off tank. His Vortex Grip provides a lot of really good CC. He pretty much forces the enemy tanks to get resilience if he's trying to bully them and plays with the DPS. His ability to sustain on the flank with his shout, healing him and his teammates, is really strong. The biggest issue with Khan is how hard Wrecker fucks him. Wrecker just, oh my, when you destroy Khan's shield, like, instantly, his sustain goes in the dumpster. Early game, it's really good. Early game Khan is so good. Because, like, they have no Haven, or, like, anything to deal with your gun pressure. Your Vortex Grip is stunning them for a goddamn hour. Your shield lasts forever, you feel like you're invincible. And then late game comes, and you're basically juggling shield, half your shield goes away. Shout, shield, half your shield goes away. Oops. You know, and there it is. His ult is still really, really, really strong. It takes practice, it takes actual skill now, which is great. But it is still a really exceptional ult. So even if he falls off pretty hard in late game, he's still exceptional at his role and at getting that guaranteed pick. If you're smart with your ult, save it for later in mid. He's still really good even if he falls off really hard, I feel. But he is really buggy right now. Like his ult, like he has some weird stuff with ult. He has the Hamlet bug. If you guys don't know the Hamlet bug, it's when you grab somebody and you miss them, and Khan's just sitting there like, "Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him." Like that's the Hamlet bug, and that's probably happened to all of you multiple times who have played Khan at least. But it is kind of difficult to guarantee that you're not going to get the Hamlet bug, if not impossible. I think it's ping dependent, but still, his ult's still really good. His pressure's great in early game. It falls off a lot, but still really good. Who's next? Ruckus. These middle tiers are going to get pretty stacked here. Ruckus is a really good off tank that you don't want to play into certain champions. I don't think you want to play him into to be or not to be. No. Mitchell should be stacked. That's true. I think Ruckus belongs here. I think he's really good, but you really have to make sure they don't have certain champions. Like, he's better into Leon than he is into Cassie, but oh god, he's bad into Cassie. He's bad to BK. He's bad to, like, yeah, I think he's okay into Koga. It depends on how much support the Koga has again. But Koga is like, sorry, Ruckus is like, when those things aren't on the field, he can do it. He can push chokes really well. He could like just redo his emitter and wait for his emitter resets while doing rockets around corners and stuff. Do I move Sky down? Shaolin also fucks Ruckus. Yeah, like he's really bad into the bursty mid rangers. But if you can get a comp that either minimizes that or maybe puts it to be just Leon, because you can kind of deal with Leon a little bit more. Ruckus is still very strong, very aggressive tank. If you know how to place his ult, how do you deal with it? Like, you can't really. It's I mean, there's ways obviously, but it's a very influential ult. He has good burst damage to start a fight, along with some of the best caughting and best dismounts in the game. He's good. Just has struggles into certain drafts, but I think that's a good place for him. Terminus. If he were playable, Power Siphon is one of the only abilities that I would put near the tier, if not almost equal, to Hook as a cooldown ability influence. Every shield has a limit, except Power Siphon. You can theoretically siphon you can block an infinite amount of damage. I can answer any questions at the end, Lucian. Sky is good when you can just poison bolt spam from the sides and burn people down. Even with Illuminate online, she's still really good. Yeah, Siphon is such a strong ability that no matter how the rest of the character is, yeah, you can't break Siphon. Like, it is an automatic timer. Siphon is an automatic timer that says, like, no damage will happen now. It's like a free reset. Think of it like Nando ults, right? That's like a timer saying nothing can happen in this fight until this point. Except Term has that all the time. And he can, like, do it on certain people, he can do it to block himself, he can block things out of the air, like, it's great. It's so good. It's so insanely good and influential that if Term hypothetically was allowed in competition, he would be banned or picked super early almost every single game. There would not be, I don't think a game would go by where Term was not picked or banned. I'm almost positive. If any check marks in the Paladins community would like to back me on that, he would not go picked or unbanned. Unpicked, unbanned. If any PPL players with check marks would back me up. It's not leaking strats because he's not allowed. Term looks like Thanos. Sorry, I'm changing my song. Term is a good code. He might be. But I don't know. I think this is an okay place for him. I think this is okay. Torvald. Torv, similar to, I think I'll put Torv here. Torv, similar to, there's a lot of people in S- tier. It's a lot of good characters, man. This is a good meta. Torv is a unique character in that he's more of a support than a tank, but he enables so many strategies. He enables so many strats that he on his own, like, it's a style of play that you'll never deal with without Torv. So either if you don't play against Torv and then, like, you decide not to ban him one day and he gets picked against you and you're not ready, you will get fucked. You will get absolutely fucked. Yes, Wrecker is good into him, but when you play against Torv, usually both your DPSs go Wrecker, and that really lowers your card. So if you end up with, like, if you somehow end up with Grover Torv, not sure what draft lets that happen, but, like, your healing output is going to be nuts, and your shielding output's gonna be like, if you win that game early game, which is what Tord wants to do. Tord wants to win a game fast. It's over. It's absolutely over. It's intensely strong. He falls off late game, of course, because of record coming online. But he just enables so much that I think he belongs here. There's a reason he's banned in almost every single game, and his power is really high. He's like really high power, but it's mostly because he is the only. He's the only character that enables that style of play. No other character lets what he lets happen. So, just for that, I think he's up there. Yeah, agreed, Sunday. Alright, we're done with the tanks, and now we can talk about the supports. And my opinion on the supports has changed recently from our scrims. Anybody who's been watching my scrims for the last couple of days has probably noticed the amount of Furia my team's been playing. And Furia is actually first on the list. That's perfect. I've always said this, that Furia is a very risk-reward champion unless you hit most of your beams. That requires a lot of communication, and I'm lucky enough to be on a team that generally, it's never going to be perfect, right? Yeah, the fact that you can communicate a Solar Blessing and catch it almost every single time, or like know that it's coming every single time, gives her a lot. I think there's maps where she's better than Damba. I really do think that this is probably one of my most influential, like controversial things I've said. I think she's better than Damba on any map where Grover is really good. Like any map where like you're playing like let's say like Jaguar, Bright Marsh, right? I think a really good Furia play, like really good Furia play on Jag or Bright Marsh, I think I'd rather have than a Damba. Because you can actually like push multiple lanes without looking at each other. So I think I'm gonna put her there. I think I'm gonna put Damba there too when I get to it. But I think she's really good right now. Maybe it just feels really good with our team because other teams don't know how to play against it. But when it's communicated well, it's so fucking good. So good. Even if they buy Caught 3 Knight, if you get Rejuve, it counters it. Sarah's ult is pretty good. We can talk about that later when we get to Sarah's, which we will. Yeah, Fury ult is really good to counter zoning, or really good just to start a fight. She's just really good right now, I think. Equal to Damba. Spoiler on Zamba's tier. Now, just to mention, I'm going to talk about Grok and Pip as DPSs. Because they're healing. I can mention CC Totem Grok, but Grok and Pip are kind of like... They're more DPSs than healers. You can run them as healers. If I rated them as healers, people would be like, they're too low. You know? Grok DPS... It's kind of hard to place him. I think I'll put him here. He's in his pressure that he puts on a team is really strong. The shock pulse is just like it's a lot of pressure. I don't think it's as good into Grover because I think Grover kind of just heals it up all the time. But the healers that don't have the ability to deal with that pressure suffer a lot. You don't really pick him into characters that can block his shock pulses effectively, but Inara is really good, and he's a great counter to Inara. Yeah, he's a great counter to Inara where you can just kind of hard focus her, force her to go into hiding. He can do a lot. Plus, his ult is one of the fastest charging in the game. Ashe was banned in PML a lot too, Lucian. Grok has one of the fastest ult charges in the game, and it's like almost a guaranteed touch after a wipe. And that's insane, because it's basically saying, I don't give a fuck if you're zoning me. I'm touching that goddamn point, because I hit 4 shock pulses, and now I have ult. That's basically what it comes down to, right? So I think Grok is really good at applying pressure against non-Grover healers. Plus, he gets his ult so fast, and it helps you so much in a fight because it slows them while speeding you. It's really influential. He's very strong. I wouldn't put him in S. I don't think I'd put him on the level of these characters, because there's ways to block. Yes, this is a competitive tier list Haichim, not like ranked, like tournament play. And remember, these are not ordered within the tiers. That's a thing. Oh, and just as a note for Heal Gronk, CC Totem is actually pretty fat as like when it's really good. Like if they have like Stun Damba, Accelerant BK, like a Makoa, like that's when it's you can actually get away with CC Totem Gronk then, but it's really situational. I was debating putting Gronk up here, but I think this is a better place for him. Spirit's Domain. I wanna mess around with it, but I feel like the LOS requirements are too like demanding. Like every other healer can peek you, heal you, back up. Atlantic 4, let's go. Yeah, like you can just get other healers can shoulder peek. Grok has to just stand in the open and go and just like wait to die, you know. No, yes, I can talk about it though. I'm just saying, like, I'm ranking them as a DPS, but I can talk about what makes their healing versions bad or good. Now, Grover is on the right maps the best healer in the game. Like, I think I'm actually gonna move Cassie up because I feel like this tier is getting too stacked. Let's play Ceres. Yeah, exactly. I think I want to put Grover up here. Because he's so on the maps where he's so good. Plus, he enables a lot of like powerful split play. His ult charges insanely fast while being a great peel thing. I'm gonna move Cassie up. I still think Leon is better, but I think they belong in the same tier. The tiers are a little gray. I'll put Grover here. Grover's ability to pocket his entire team effectively. With the Elim resets, you can snowball super hard and basically deny any comeback in a fight that looked even. The ult charges really fast, and the ult is basically like a solar blessing. Yes, I know it's not as good as having it on a cooldown, obviously, but Shaolin plus I think Shaolin's in the fair place. Do you play on console, Chun Hong? Because this is a PC tier list, and Cassie's always been like kind of on console, but not on PC. Grover equals Furia. But Grover, I put Grover above Furia, obviously. But he has that Solar Blessing on an ultimate, but in the meantime, his healing is just so good. He has a ton of heals covering the entire map all the time with the pockets, and it's good. Yeah, nobody bans Cassie, but I think she's that good. I really do. I would put her above these characters. Grover has so much healing throughput, and he's doing damage, and he's crippling you, and some people are running Root now, which is like on top. Now he has crazy CC on top of his healing, on top of his poke. Like, it's hard to do with him. Plus, he has a great getaway too. Genos. He's not great. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'll put him down here because I'm sure he has a niche that no one's found. But like, he's not doing great right now. Like he's he's great in pubs. I'll play Genos in a pub any day because then I don't have to care. I could just like that's the best part about Genos, right? Like he's okay with triple DPS or quad. If you're playing quad DPS, I think you want Genos. But he's just not that great. But maybe there's like a niche for binary Genos. It's like a supplemental healer with a Koga or something. But like, well, we don't need to fucking theory craft here. I'm gonna move Furia down because I do think Grover's better, but I don't think it's this high up. I'm gonna put Damba with Furia in this tier. Maybe I move Damba up. I don't know. I think Fury's equal. You know what? I think I am gonna leave Fury up here and leave Damba down here. I'm gonna be fucking bold. I think Fury's better than Damba in a lot of places, and I mean it. I think Damba is obviously an incredibly effective healer with crazy good CC, and one of the better escapes from healers because it cleanses him, and not a lot of escapes do that. I know Fury's E doesn't. I think Grox is one of the only ones, but regardless, Fury better than Damba. I think so. I think at their potential. I think if you're playing Furia to the point where you're hitting every beam, how is she worse than Damba? The spread heals are crazy. The Damba ult can be really inconsistent. His spread heals are nice, and his ability to hyper pocket one person is really good while they're moving. For your range is bad. Needs to be yeah, maybe I do move them all to the same tier. I didn't want to stack them all, but I think you're right. You know why I'm going to do that? Here's what I'm going to do. I think Damba, I'll put Damba up there because you can play. Now, we've been messing around with this in scrims, and you guys have seen it. Excuse me. If you can't land your beams, then Fury is basically not a heal. Yeah, but we're talking about like scrim play, like tournament scrim play, and we've been playing a lot of Furia, and we've been hitting a lot of beams. It's insane. I'm gonna put Damba up there because I think he's super versatile. Because I think you can play a stun Damba and it's fine, and it's good. You can watch our scrims if you don't believe me. We have scrimmed with stun Damba quite a few times, and it's been good, pretty consistently. Yeah, if our ancient Damba makes him good too. It also, like, I would pick Furia over Damba on the maps that Grover is like insane on, like Jag. I'd rather have Furia than Damba on Jaguar Falls. Because you're like, there's so many ways you can block LOS and like miss that you can just call you're getting beamed and wait. You weren't playing versus the PPL teams, not on stream. We can't stream against PPL teams. I'm talking about the scrims you can see. Resilience level 3 says hi to Damba stuff, but yeah, then we forced you to get Result 3, and now you're not calling our double healer. There you go. Like, that's what it comes down to. Also, Damba does 1100 burst damage when he hits you with that. I'm not saying stun Damba is S-. I'm saying the versatility of Damba to be able to be a good main healer and be a good DPS support flex is why I'll put him there with Furia and Grover. Pip. I'm biased because I hate Pip. Like, playing against Pip, I think Pip Explosive Flask is one of the most unfun abilities in the entire game. Like, straight up. I think it's like it is the most fun killing ability in the whole game. There's two abilities that I think are super unfun. I think Pip Flask and I think Cassie Ult are the least fun abilities in the game. Because it's like, you get hit with a Pip Stone and you're like, it's like, you're fighting a Pip and you get hit with a slow and you're like, I gotta get out of here. And then you're already dead. Sorry. I roll in my wire. Shit, I'm actually really caught in there. Okay, Term Siphon's unfun. I like playing around it personally. Too fast. No, you're right. I got caught on my wire. So I'm a little biased because I really don't like Explosive Flask. And Cassiel's not fun because you fucking. It's like, I'm gonna do a flank. Go Ziggs. Never mind. I'm gonna wait. Okay, now I can go. Like, welcome to fucking. Welcome to Cassiel. Strix Slayer too? Yeah, that too. But it's fixed now. I'll put Pip here because I think he's really good. I think he's good into some of the high tier characters. I think he's good into the high tier tanks. I think he's good into Koga. I think he's good into the healers in general. He's really good at diving them, because like slow can kind of force Grover Divine. His self-healing with Moxie is really strong. I think this is good for I think this is a good place for Ben. He's a good supplement as a blaster for BK. I think he's a better blaster than Drogo's in a lot of situations, because he brings the supplemental healings, plus he has a lot of self-sustain, plus an incredible ult. I think this is a good place for him. Saris and Ying. I think I'm going to rank them at the same time. I think they're both just going to go to A tier, because I think they both kind of do... Maybe, I don't know about... I still don't know about Ying, man. I really don't know about Ying. She's better than Genos, so I'm going to put her here, but she, like, just brings heals, and now they're just worse. Like, the other healers, I think, like, Ying was so good. Ying was just, like, so good at pocketing. Like, during that meta with all the built-in caught, and, during the meta with all the built-in caught, and all the, like, CC, you didn't need a healer that brought CC, because everyone had CCR, and you needed a healer that was, like, had a shitload of healing, because of like the amount of caught rise, right? So Ying was like a perfect fit for that LAN meta, because Ying didn't have CC, because it didn't matter, because everyone had fucking CCR. It wasn't even worth it half the time. And Ying had some of the highest healing in the game with the change in like with the life exchange cooldown stuff. Sorry, 1 second. So Ying was a perfect fit for that meta, but since now CC is still really good. Like, CC is really good again, and her healing got nerfed. So now the healers with utility are better than her, most likely, most of the time. And now some of the healers just have better output than her. You know, like Mortal Reach Saris probably has more output than her sometimes. Damba, Furia, Grover all have more output than Ying. Geno still sucks. But yeah, so I think those two healers, I think Ying and Saris are kind of on the same level. Saris is better than Ying. Do you think Saris is A+? I think you're right, actually. I think Saris is a tier above Ying, because she has that CCR. No, because Ying is definitely a tier above Genos. You know, actually, I think I might do this. No, I think Saris can belong here, because she's still good. I might do some maneuvering here. Because I think my, like, where I put people has changed a little bit. I think this is a little fair for some moving. I mean, Genos has, like, quad DPS. Genos works with Torv. It's right, actually. Genos is where he does work with Torv. Genos is B. I think that's fair. But Saris is really good against compositions that can't counter her ult that well. Or you can even throw it behind a Nando to force him to turn, or like behind like a Kong to force him to turn, get like a CC on him that way. Like, it's pretty good. Give Makoa SS? I'm thinking about it, but I think SS is like, there's counterplay to Makoa though. Like, there's counterplay to Makoa, is what I'm thinking. Like, Makoa's not SS. Like, SS to me is like, must first pick every time, impossible to play against. SS to me is like, OB44 life like Ying, or, Accelerant BK at that one Master's Land. Like, that's SS to me. SS to me is, if you pick this character, you just fucking win. Like, Meta Knight and Brawl, Bayonetta and Smash 4. The game, Sky. Sky is a super hard counter to Makoa. So anyway, I think I might do some minor changes after we do some discussion, because I do think that like some of my DPS rankings got a little mixed up with my support and tank rankings. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about anything, I know you guys were talking about Sky. Lucian was talking about Sky equal to Pip. Sky, when she's good, is insane. She fucks tanks, and you don't play her like a flank. You play her like a hybrid flanker backline. You don't really run her behind the team, because at a high level she'll just die, right? But early game, like before Illuminates are online, you can just play like across the entirety of Stone Keep, just go like and hit them for 30%, and then just like hide for 2 seconds, wait for your cooldown, go like go hide again. Like, you can just wait. You can ban Skyrim Cassie. Hello, IGN here. What is the reasoning for Amani so high? She's like a Cassie with utility instead of an escape. it's like Cassie, but instead of tank shred and a great escape, she has an okay escape and more CC and utility. Buck is worse than Lex. They're not ordered within the tiers, Adam. So like this is a good tier. I don't think I want to move Moji down to deer. To deer. Oh my god. To D. You think Imani escape is better? I don't think so. Imani, yeah, the Imani route is so nasty for team fights. And the splitting ice, like, it's like imagine if every bolt that Cassie hit on somebody, it did 350 damage to someone next to that Cassie. That's Imani. But Skye is really effective. Can I explain Tyra's placement? I think she's super flexible. I think she's just like not as a mid ranger. Like, imagine you put her in with like, I don't know. I know, like in our scrim, she's felt pretty good. I'm sure that if we play against a PPL team and they'll do Dookie on the Imani, right? This is from my experience, right? Like, Imani is good, but she's easier to pressure than the Cassie. That's why she's a tier below the Cassie. But Tyra's placement, she's really flexible, and you don't put her in that mid-ranger slot, right? Like you're not putting. Is Mercy Kill always better than Hunter's Mark? No. There's like if you play Tyra on a map where like it's really long range, I think Hunter's Mark is better because then your pokers get an advantage. But like the maps where Tyra's good, she's obnoxiously good. Why is Talus A-? Because without Cauterize, what does he bring? Like as a flanker, the other ones are just stronger than him. I think he doesn't have Cauterize anymore. He's so squishy. Like he has that free getaway, but then he's just like waiting for his rune again, like fucking on his phone. He's so squishy that like his lifesteal builds and stuff. Yeah, he's just gonna get chunked in coordinated play. We just played against him earlier with a Torb, I think, and it did not feel good. Like I played against him. Let me double check. Did they have a Torb that game? Yeah, I think they first picked it actually, if I remember correctly. Still keep print. Yeah, they had a Torb Talus, and the Talus like got outdamaged by their Dredge. No difficult. Yeah, Willow just gets walked at too easily. Yeah, Talus is good in uncoordinated gameplay, but like he just gets focused too hard. And like, yeah, he gets away for free, but then he just waits for his rune again. He doesn't have that built-in caught anymore, so his damage can just get out-healed. And Guts isn't really that good, because Guts, like, you're usually gonna like skip over the trigger for the damage resistance. A lot of time. Like you're just gonna miss that trigger, and he's just gonna die. Anyway, I think Xin should be S-. Maybe we just started playing with him. He is really flexible. I was debating about it, but like, I just think the champions in S- are better than him. But I still think he's good. No, well, a term. I was debating it. I don't know. I was debating putting term up, but I don't know. I think Makoa obviously deals with term, as we know, even though it was always banned. And like, I might move Ashe down and term up, because I think he'd be banned or picked every single game, almost guaranteed, if he was in the meta right now. I think you might be right about that. I could do that. I could do that flipperoo. Right now, term is S tier. What do you? Term's always been. What do you mean? Ashe is corrected S+. I think so too. You know, I'll do this. This is fine. And then I might move. This seems fair to me. This seems a little better. Okay. Yeah, Power Siphon is insane. Alright, you think Xin is just below Cassie Leon? Oof. Maybe. Okay. Anybody, really quickly, does anybody have any questions, I'm going to do that for a little bit longer. I'm at almost 8 hours and 45 minutes of a stream, so I'll do like 3 more questions before I kill the stream and host somebody. Is SS like champs that don't need change? SS champs are like, if you pick them, you win, no question. Zin can't be at the same rank as Tyra? Dude, Tyra's really fucking good. Like, Tyra's like really good. People are really underestimating Tyra, man. Try Mercy Kill Tyra if you haven't. It's really solid. Will this be saved as a VOD? Yeah. I might upload it to YouTube too. Thinking about it. But I don't know if I have time to do a YouTube presence. What do you think of the time slow? Please tell me it gets countered by Brazil. That's all